Bullet time photography is an amazing new technology that allows filmmakers almost unlimited flexibility in controlling the speed and movement of on-screen elements. The Matrix puts this technology to astounding use, creating super slow motion in action sequences that leaves audiences stunned.
It's slowing down time to such an extent that you really see everything around you as clearly as you possibly could.
Using a combination of real and computer-generated images, the process takes on the attributes of full-cell animation, only with people, not characters.
You always know that you're doing something that is groundbreaking. If someone asks something that you go, maybe, if we do some development and get the right minds working on it, and it takes some pretty heavy thinking to get it together.
Gata's team and the filmmakers first block out each action scene that will use bullet time photography with conventional cameras. Then they scan the images into a computer and, using a laser-guided tracking system, map out the movements to be captured in the finished scene.
Everything begins with a simulation. All the computer simulation information is the basis of a timing sequence.
A series of sophisticated still cameras is placed along the mapped path, each of which will shoot a single still photo.
Each camera has a specific moment in time to fire a frame of film. All that is taking into account the net effect, the total effect of the move. That is a camera coming up to speed, moving at a speed, and coming off a speed.
The still photos are scanned into a computer, which create a strip of still images similar to animation cells. The computer generates in-between drawings called interpolation. The additional computer-generated images give the same effect as animators drawing frames to move their characters smoothly from one pose to another.
We analyze what real frames we have, and we can create new frames of moments in between the captured frames to make moves longer and or stretch them out or do time compression effects.
The complete series of images can be passed before the viewer's eyes as quickly or slowly as the filmmakers want, without losing clarity.
In this particular rig, there are 120 cameras and 2 motion picture cameras set up. The rig that we've made can be configured into any shape that you want. The shapes are basically what we compose in our simulations. It can do S-curves, it can do arcs, it can do spirals, it can do anything you want. It's an erector set. The heights of the cameras, where they're pointing at, also from the same simulation. The 2 motion picture cameras are going to be, in this particular shot, that's running at 150, that one's running at 120. There are other bullet times where the end camera is a photosonics camera, so we'll be running that at 360. I can choose at will any elapsed real-world time to photograph. That is, if I have a guy falling over, I can choose to capture the whole event in the time that it takes to go around the circle. I could choose to capture only a very brief moment, and that is how we determine what frame rate the cameras eventually wind up. I could shoot the same exact stunt several times over, creating a simulation of 100 frames per second, 500 frames a second, 2,000 frames a second, all with the same camera moving at the same speed and time. I could go forwards in motion with the camera and forwards in time with the event, but then I could also choose to stop the camera abruptly, start moving backwards against itself while the action continues to move forward.
This painstaking technique takes time and extreme precision, but it renders moving objects and people in a way never before seen on the screen.
It's all baby steps towards something much larger that won't be really commonplace for a few years, but there are people around the world that sort of, scratching their heads about a new way to photograph things. It'll be as revolutionary as when cameras came off sticks and went to a crane, when they came off of cranes and went to Steadicams. We're talking about cameras that are now broken from the subject matter, that are virtual. So that's the next phase. That's what computers have introduced into cinematography.